Hello friends, this is Deepak from Apiteria. In this video, we are going to learn how to download a file from server in your Android app using Download Manager. So let's see how to do this. I'm using Android Studio 2.2.3. I'll create a new project for this. I'll name it as Download Manager Example. Next, I'll keep API 15. Empty activity. I'll keep name as main activity and finish. Okay, so first I'll design my layout. In my layout, I will first change the relative layout to a linear layout. And I will make it as linear layout vertical. So I need to set the orientation to vertical. Now I'll remove this text view and I will add 2 buttons and 1 video view in my layout. Okay, so this is my button number 1, button number 2 and 1 video view. So video view you will find in your images and media options. Okay, now on first button I will set the text property as I will add a new string resource and I will name it as download file. And similarly for the second button, I'll create a new string and I will name it as view downloads. These are my buttons and I will name this video view as video view. Fine. Now in our main activity, I'll declare one long variable. We'll name it as QID. I will explain you use of this ID later on, and along with that we also need to use a download manager. This download manager we are going to use to download the file. I'll name it as DM. That's it. Now first we will create click listener for both the buttons. Okay, now this is a click listener to download the file. So I'll say download underscore click. View, and in this download class first I will initialize the download manager. So I'll say dm is equal to new download manager, then I will say get system service, and in this I will pass the object of a download service. Then we need to start a new request. We need to provide a new request to the download manager so that he will take that request and he will download the requested file. So I will say download manager. So we need to create the object of a request. So download manager request, I will name it as request is equal to new download manager request, and in that request we need to pass the URI of the file which we want to download. So I'll say URI.parse, and in this double quote we need to pass the address of the file which we want to download. So here I will pass the path from our server, one of the file from our server. So I'll say http://video.mp4. So you can put any, you can replace this path with your file name which you want to download it from the server. So just okay, now this download manager.request, and in that you need to pass the URI of the file which you want to download. Now this is our request. Now we need to say dm.enqueue. Now this enqueue method will queue, put our request in a queue, and it will start downloading our file whenever the download manager is free. So download manager is a common class which handles downloads from other applications as well. So we need to put our request in a queue. So I'm just adding our request in a queue of download manager using this enqueue method, and this enqueue method will return us one ID of our request. So you can say that as a request ID, or you can say that as a queue ID. So this is our request ID. So we have given a request, and now this enqueue method will return us a ID, this enqueue ID. Now we can use this enqueue ID to track the status of our file, whether it has been downloaded or it is in downloading stage. Everything we can track using this ID. So that's why we have initialized, we have declared the ID here, and now we are having the value of that request ID in this variable called as QID. So this is about the this is for the download button click. Now I will create a click listener for view downloads button. So I'll say view underscore click. Now on this view underscore click, it is nothing but a simple explicit intent. Simple implicit intent. So I'll say intent is equal to new intent, and in this we will say we need to set an action called as action view. So that should be like download manager dot action view downloads, right? So it will show you all the downloads, status of all the downloads, and and all the downloaded files. And then I will say start activity, and in that I will pass the object of that intent. So that's it for the view button. Now I will select this button, and on this on click method I will say download underscore click, and similarly for the view downloads I will set view underscore click. Okay, now that's it for the download and view download button. Now we want to check the status of the file down, it is in download, and we want to also check when the download has been completed, right? As this download will be file will be downloaded using this download manager. So to keep track of this file, we need to use a broadcast receiver with the action download complete. So as soon as the download will get completed, based on the speed of your internet and whether the internet connection is available or not, whenever the action is completed, the broadcast receiver will give us a trigger, and we need to receive that trigger, and there we can show the status, or we can handle the status when that action has been completed. So first step is we need to define that broadcast receiver in our onCreate method. Okay, now in onCreate method I will say broadcast receiver, I will name it as receiver is equal to new broadcast receiver. So this broadcast receiver will have this onReceive method. Now in this onReceive method, first we need to make sure that whether the action because of which this broadcast receiver has been triggered is the action download completed. So first we will verify the action. So I'll say string action is equal to intent dot get action, and then I'll say download manager dot action download complete is equals the action because of which this broadcast receiver has been triggered. So if both the actions are equal, then we are sure that this action is fired because of the download has been completed by the download manager. Now we need to find out our request, whether this particular download has been completed and this request is from our request. So we can query the download manager using this class called as query. So I will create object of a download manager dot query. Now in this query we need to pass the filter. So for that we need to say set filter by ID, and in that we need to pass the ID of our queue. So I will pass the object of queue ID. So I have passed the ID queue ID into my query by using this set filter by ID method. Now we can query that query our download manager using this object of a query class. So first we are going to get the response from the query in the as a cursor. So we'll first create the object of a cursor, and then we'll say download manager dot query, and then we'll pass the object of the class query. Now this is a query method, and this is our I will just rename it as a request query, and we'll just pass that object of a request query here. Okay, now we are having a response in our cursor. Now first we will check cursor dot move to first. Now this move to first will make sure that there is a record from available in the cursor. If there is no record, that means cursor is null or empty, right? So we'll say move to first, and then first we'll find out the column index of the column which is having name called as status, right? So we'll say column index of download manager dot column status. So the response which we are getting from this query method is having one column called as column status. This status column will give us the status of our download, whether the download has been completed successfully or not. That will be written by in this column called as status, right? Now we will check if the status is successful. So you might get status as status running, pending, paused, or failed, right? So we'll say if status is successful, then we will take the file and we will show it on the video view which we have created on our XML part, UI part, right? So first we will create the object of a video view. Is equal to video view find view by ID to find our video view using the ID. Right now this is our ID, and we have created object of a video view class. Now we will require a URI of a file which has been downloaded into our mobile now, because we have downloaded this file from a server. Now this file will get saved into some folder in our phone, so we need to find out that path. So first I will create the object of a string variable, and in that variable I will say cursor dot get string, and we will ask for the column called as local URI. So we'll say download manager dot column local URI. Now this column or data from this column will return us the local URL of this video, right? Now media controller, this is an optional part. If you want to show pause option and seek bar on your video, then we need to create the media controller. So I'll say media controller is equal to new media controller. We need to pass some context there, so we'll pass application context. Then we need to set the media controller dot set anchor. This anchor view will be object of our video view. So we'll pass the object of a video view here. So this media controller will get anchored or attached to the video view. Then we will say video view dot request focus, video view dot set content URI. Now this set video URI, sorry. Now this video URI is nothing but our URI which we have read from the cursor. Okay, this is a string, so we need to convert that into a URI. So we'll say URI dot parse, and in that we will pass the string, and then we'll say video view dot start. Fine. Now this will, as soon as the file will get downloaded, we'll first this broadcast receiver will get triggered. Then we'll check whether the action is action download complete. Then we will query our request from the download manager using this query class, and the result of a query will be we are going to take it in the cursor. And now in that cursor we are going to access two columns. One is the status of the file, if that status is successful or not. If it is successful, then we can read the local path of that file using this local URI. You can also use the else part of these if conditions to show the messages, whether you can say else part here and you can say the file download is not successful, and similarly for this if condition also you can add that, right? So we are not using that. Now we just need to do one more step. We have declared the object of this broadcast receiver, but along with this we need to register this receiver, because unless we register this receiver, this register will not get triggered. So for that we need to add one line here in the onCreate method. We will say register receiver, and in this register receiver, first we need to pass the object of a receiver, and then we need to pass the object of a intent filter by mentioning the action for which we want to get the trigger. So we'll say download manager dot action download complete. That's it. Now the coding part is done to download the file, to view the downloaded files, and to get the status of file completed or not. Along with that, we also need to add permissions in our project, because we are going to download the file from the internet. So we need to add a permission internet, and we are going to save the file on the external partition. So we need to add a permission called as write external storage. So that's it. Now we will execute this project and we'll see the output. So here it is installing on my mobile. Okay, now you can see download file and view download. So first I'll click on download files button. Now on click of this download file, you can see that file is downloading. It is saying untitled there. It will identify the file, and you can see that it is saying video 1 is downloading, and download has been completed. As soon as the download has been completed, you can see the video is playing, and as soon as the download, so we have written a broadcast receiver, and in that broadcast receiver we are playing that video on this video view. Now if you want to see the downloaded file, you need to click on this view downloads button. Now you can see it is showing the downloaded file, and in this downloaded you can see this video 1.mp4, and if I click on open, it will open the file in the any video player, and you can see that file and in other video players, right? So This is how you can download any file, not only video file but any file using this download manager. So thank you for watching guys. Hope this video will help you. Subscribe our channel for more videos like this. Don't forget to click on the bell sign to get notification of all the videos notification when we upload any video on the YouTube channel. Thank you.